Some of our favorites are deep in the red. XLM is seeing a massive sell-off. XRP price doesn't look so hot. What about all those crypto savings we were supposed to see in that big, beautiful bill? Well, the bill passed. Was there any crypto benefits in there? The Linqto saga. Will you be getting your money? Deaton explains it to us all, along with
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
birds of a feather flock together, and this flock is flying south. We're talking deep red in the prices. Look at this. ADA down 6%. XLM down 5%. Heck, look at the XLM chart. That is a free-for-all right there. And if Stellar passes one more candlestick, we're going to drop to November prices. We're talking about the potential of winding it all the way back down to what, everyone? 10 cents. Yeah, we'll talk price action at the end. But before we get into what the heck is going on right now, yeah, I've got answers for you. Your comments come first. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. Yeah, I'll be on vacation soon. But you know what? I'm still going to bring you the news while on vacation. Bob Meat loves it. Love the pick, by the way. Admit it. Taste my wiener. Love it, dude. Says economy is solid. That's what Jerome Powell said. A solid turd. Be great if prices were in the 90s or if I got a huge raise. Yeah, dude, we're all thinking the same thing. It's paycheck to paycheck, isn't it? Glenn Sacona's hanging out with us in the house and says, wait until the September Fed meeting and Daddy Jerome hits us all with a 25 basis point drop. That's right. The first rate cut is expected in the September meeting. That will do nothing for the price. Yeah, because by then, we'll have priced it in because we're already expecting it by then. The Amazing World PC 1491 says, Klaus, I just love all the news that you give out and no regulations till September. It gives me a chance to catch up and buy more XRP and Quant. So let's sit back, have a beer on the 4th, and cheers to the future. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely giving us time to buy more. But here's the problem, everyone. Is if we keep going the way that we're going, we're going to break through all the gains that we had, and we're going to roll it on back to pre-election prices. So why are we now going deep in the red for a lot of our favorites? Because of all those crypto things that we were promised. What about no taxes on crypto? What about BTC miners not getting double screwed on crypto taxation? Well, none of those made it in the bill. That's right. Lied to again with all those crypto promises that we didn't get. The U.S. Senate passes Trump's budget bill without any provisions on crypto taxes. In a 50-50 vote that just happened. Yeah, it just happened. That's right. You hit the subscribe button and notification bell. It happened on Tuesday. After a more than 24-hour marathon session, the Senate passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, with Vice President J.D. Vance acting as the tiebreaker. Yes, so for those of you that don't know, if you get a 50-50 vote in the Senate, which means what, everyone? That means 3 Republicans voted no against the bill. Oh, very interesting. So when you get a tie, who breaks the tie in the Senate? It's the Vice President. So Vance voted, said, yes, let's pass the bill. That's what happened. And boom, shakalaka, the bill passed. But here's the problem. We didn't get any of those crucial crypto tax amendments. Remember when there was that whole thing floated? Oh, no taxes for crypto. No taxes for US-based crypto. No taxes double dipping for BTC miners. Yeah, none of that made it. Despite the last-minute intense efforts led by Senator Cynthia Lummis and crypto industry advocates, the proposed tax provisions did not make it into the final legislation, highlighting ongoing problems. This is what they said. We just ran out of time reflecting on the missed opportunities to address double taxation and other key issues. Sounds to me like there was more over-promising and under-delivering for what we would get from crypto. Because again, a lot of our votes were based on what? All these promises. Oh, bro, you're not going to get taxed on crypto. Oh, U.S.-based crypto companies are going to get a big, kind of free pass for the taxation. Oh, you're a BTC miner. Oh, this is how it works. When you win a BTC, when you harvest an action, you get taxed. And then when you sell, you get taxed again. We're talking about provisions where you wouldn't get taxed twice. Yeah, none of that made it. They just ran out of time. What a fucking joke. So again, we get bent over. Speaking of bent over, how about everyone that bought into those Linqto pre-IPO shares? Deaton's got a hot take on it. Pro XRP lawyer John Deaton makes one thing clear about the Linqto fund plan. He's pissed. A growing number of Linqto users are demanding answers, and Deaton has made one thing clear. Returning investors' initial contributions without accounting for asset appreciation would be a serious injustice. Linqto, a private equity investment platform that a lot of you listening and watching to got into for those Ripple private shares. Yeah, remember that pre-IPO action? Halted operations in February 2025 amid regulatory scrutiny. Now remember, Ripple just recently did a buyback program offering $175 per share. Since then, customers have been unable to access their funds while the company insists client assets remain secure. The broader concern is, will any form of a refund be processed? Deaton, a vocal XRP advocate, said, guess what? A simple reimbursing principal investments would allow Linqto to pocket the profits. That's right, because remember, Ripple just recently said, yo, we're going to give you even more on the buyback. So if they just gave you your money back, they would bank the profits. Let's go to what John Deaton says. By the way, everything else you see in my videos, it's all linked to everyone in the ball sack. That's the description. That's what's hanging down below the video. So what Deaton said, regarding Linqto, it depends on the investment, I guess. If people got their money back for PolySign, it'd be a great deal because PolySign is worthless. But what about Ripple and Circle? I invested $30,000 in Circle in the Linqto platform. My investment today is worth $157,000. If Linqto gave me my $30K back, it would net over $120K in my investment. When Ripple did a buyback in 2024, Ripple offered $175,000. That's actually 2025. Ripple offered $175 per share. My average cost per share is $33. Some people got in lower and higher. Linqto bought Ripple and Circle shares, so if they just return people's money, they would receive a financial windfall. No way are the people who screwed us over going to benefit from screwing us over. I'm not letting that happen without a fight to the death. No doubt some folks feel frustrated and angry. I do. There are a lot of people out there who take advantage of people's fear, anger, and frustration and patience. They might say, I'll buy your interest for blank, hoping to take advantage of people. My fear is that some folks might try to cash in on people's fear and anger. So, are you affected by the Linqto platform ceasing? Yeah, and Deaton's got a good point, because remember, just recently Ripple in June was like, yo, we'll buy your shares back. So if your average cost was $33, and then you could have sold your shares for $175, and Linqto's like, yo, we'll give you your $33 back. Linqto is profiting and pocketing the other almost $150 of that per share. Yo, there's some shady ass shit going on. As this story develops, I will be sure to share it with you. But right now, you're seeing some massive crypto softness happen. Solana going down. XRP going down. We talked about XLM going down, and we're going to talk about that specific candlestick because we're talking about erasing the gains entirely from the November election. Right now, the volume, $99 billion. So exchanges are making money on people selling, and that's what it's all about. Look at BTC down. And why are they down? Because none of those tax provisions made it into that big, beautiful bill. And here's the problem. Weren't we promised those tax provisions? Oh, here's the no taxation on U.S.-based crypto companies. And who are some of the biggest companies getting blown out right now? U.S.-based crypto companies are some of the biggest ones getting crushed right now on the heat map. Look at ADA, under 55 cents. XLM, Sol, 3 big U.S. ones in the red deep right now. BTC even down big. And I know you're like, bro, 1.57% is not big. It is big for BTC because BTC doesn't have the same big fluctuations. So yeah, this is because of what's happening with the Senate, and it has taken down some of our favorites. Now, specifically with XLM, here is the big fear. You see where we're at candlestick-wise? We only have one day that held lower than this. And we're looking at this one right here on April 7th, where we held a low of 20.01 cents. If we breach through that, and yeah, I know people are going to be like, but bro, we held a low of 21.68. Yeah, we did, and we popped right back up real quick from that. But if we breach through this mark right here on this move, because this move is still happening right now, You're talking about winding this thing all the way back to November. The next major support mark for XLM is right around the 10-cent mark. Which means what, everyone? Which means another massive event out there could wipe out almost all of these gains. And XLM has already had a whole bunch of softness. Look at the peaks. XLM has not regained any of their price action since the November pump. You go to XRP's chart, you can see XRP is nice and flat. You go to XLM's chart, no, it is not nice and flat. It has been a sell-off drain since. And the problem is if we can't hold 20 cents, we have a massive risk of dropping back down to 10 cents and lower. Will it be an overnight thing? No, because you've seen it drains slowly with XLM. Now swinging on over to XRP, you're starting to see the softness happen with XRP. Look at the pumperoni earlier in the 24-hour cycle, right? Yeah, now look, it's starting to wind its way back on down. Now, XRP does have a bit more solid support around that $2 mark, so I think a lot of us feel very comfortable that we're going to keep it around that $2 mark. But here's the problem. The friend zone exists, and it's boring as shit in the friend zone. Now, it's not boring for the exchanges because the volume is 4 billion right now in the last 24 hours. So your likes of Binance and Coinbase are making an ass ton of money. But it's not fun for us because $2.17 isn't cheap enough for any of us to really buy a lot, because we've seen just recently you've been able to buy sub $2 XRP. And if you want to sell XRP for a profiteroni, you've been able to sell it for above 230 quite a few times. So the friend zone sucks. It's not juicy hot price, and it's not low enough for you to stack knowing you could have totally gobbled it up for cheaper not too long ago. And right now, with all of us getting screwed, not getting any of those tax provisions into the bill because they just ran out of time, well, it's no wonder US-based cryptos are getting screwed, and cryptos as a whole are getting screwed. Welcome to the United States government, where we 100% overpromise and underdeliver, leading to what? The market being red. And I apologize for the first part of that previous segment because my mic was pointed over there because I was gaming before I was playing this. So if it sounded a little wonky, that's why it should sound nice and crispy about now. Now, that being said, the tax provision, look, huge letdown. And now it's letting down the prices. And for some of us, it's getting into the buy zone for some of them. While for others, it's in the friend zone. But that's what this market is built on right now. A bunch of softness. And no, it's not me hating. It's me bringing you the news, which just sucks right now. And Jerome giving us a quarter rate cut ain't going to do jack shit-ola either, because it's only going to be a quarter cut. Well, what? The European Central Bank has cut rates now 11 times, I think it is. So, yeah, exactly. Now, in terms of traders making money on the action, look, they've been playing the pumps and dumps. They're going to buy on this dump right now, and you know what's going to happen. They're going to sell on the pump here soon. Why? Because we don't have crypto regs. They're not going to be happening anytime soon. You're even seeing the Republicans break ranks right here, with 3 of the Republicans not going along with Trump's bill. Yeah. So you think crypto bill is going to be an easy one to pass? Hell no. Tax provisions, didn't see it with this, and, well, you see how the market's reacting. So if you wonder why we're red, well, I just gave you the answer. It sucks. Crypto is a house built on sand, not on stone. Speaking of, it's thundering outside. I don't know what they had to do with sand and stone, but it is thundering outside. I can see out my window that, yeah, it is definitely dark over yonder. It's going to happen. And the dogs are freaking out, because whenever it thunders, you know, the dogs freak out. You know how it is, dog owners out there. Oh, it's frustrating, everyone. But I'm going to be watching the charts for the rest of the day because I want to see how far this market pulls down on this news. You saw it right away with those U.S.-based companies, so that tells you what the sentiment is. So, choo-choo what? Choo-choo overpromise and underdeliver. Yay, United States government. Choo-choo biz nachos.